Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Crystal, and this is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown podcast. And over Skype, looking lovely as ever, I have my longtime friend, Matt Howowski, otherwise known as Micky Trouble. Hello, sir.
How's it going?
Good, good. Good, good. Let me just readjust my microphone here. There we go. All right. Excellent. Cool. So, you have been making music, being creative ever since I met you back in college, which seems eons ago now. And
That was only 12 years.
has it been 12 years already?
It has been 12 years already.
Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, so we met back in UWS, and you played open mic and had a little bit of punk anarchy going on back then, which you still do now. But now on your resume, you can put ex-soldier in there too. What else do you have going on, sir? Even though it's been 12 years that I've been trying to get you on my show.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. Uh, no, lately I've been doing a lot of live streams to help out down at the VA with all the retirees who are stuck there for COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So on Fridays, I try to call them and I'll play some music for them, just kind of chit chat with them, see how they're doing. And it seems to be going over very, very well. So I'm going to try to expand that project and we'll see how it goes.
Awesome, awesome. And now, is the live stream more in response to COVID that you can't go down there physically, or is a live stream just to get your music out to more people?
Let's see. It started out the first one and quickly moved to the second one. So yeah, it definitely started out due to COVID, and then I just kind of had fun with it, ran with it from my studio, and which I'm in right now, in case you can't tell. That I started doing it from there, and once we got rolling on that, it was like, oh man, there's a lot more people watching these things than I ever expected. So, like my last live stream that I did, I had people in 5 countries watching. So that was pretty cool.
Excellent, excellent. And now, what kind of platform do you host for your live stream? Is that more Facebook? I mean, there's another one out there called Stage It. There's also now, I believe, VMO does a live stream as well. I mean, there's so many different platforms out there. What's your mainstay?
So initially, it started out between Zoom and Facebook, and now I'm slowly transitioning back over to YouTube Live to go that route, and hopefully like I said, hopefully it gets expanded to more people, and if I can just make everybody have fun, then I'm doing my job right.
Right, right. And to take it back, I guess 12 years ago, I remember I had just started at KUWS, which is where I got my start with my show, and you were coming in on the weekends, and I was trying to record your album in what was the makeshift music studio there, and you I still remember you were surrounded from wall to floor records and CDs and stuff like that, and I was in the next room on the board, and we knocked out a couple songs. I don't know what happened to them. It's been such a long time ago. But that's really cool. But let's talk a little bit about your kind of home studio. Now, you are not unfamiliar with recording and setting up studios, as I recall.
Yeah, it is very true. I'm very familiar with it. My home studio, it's small, but let's just say beefy. As I was taught in the military, overkill is underrated. So I kind of went a little overboard at home, and everything's on power regulators and backup batteries, and so even if the power goes out, I can still live stream and I can still operate.
Yeah, yep. I can see you got a Marshall stack in back of you there. You got a drum kit. And then you showed me a while back you had rigged your lighting to bounce with your drum kit as well?
Yes, yes, I did. Because I'm a huge nerd, and that is how I figured that out. I use
Mhm,
an electronic trigger on the bass drum to actually make the lights jump,
mhm,
and it's kind of fun. But I'm
mhm,
also running a VHT amp through a Laney cabinet over in the corner. That's my little one.
mhm.
So 212. That's little. Um, but that's my small one, and then obviously the Marshall full stack in the back of me
Mhm.
um, is that's my I want to rock out and sound like 1986
Mhm.
amp, and so it gets fairly loud down here, and but it's all right. And I'm running two 2x15 speakers, and then another 2x12 set of speakers, and then powered monitors all the way around, in-ear monitors as well to save everyone's hearing. So when I have guests over, uh, we're not all going deaf.
I that is something I learned very early on in my sound career as well. That in-ear monitors or even some type of earplug will save your hearing tenfold. So that's yes, I completely agree. Safety first, which is
Yeah,
excellent.
as somebody who has to wear hearing aids already, and I'm only 30, protecting people's hearing is kind of a sideline passion of
Oh,
mine.
okay. Good, good. Um, so, Matt, what kind of brought about doing the whole home studio route? Is it just a time killer? Was it just something that you always wanted to have?
Well, okay, so it initially started as I just wanted to record a couple songs, and I was like, okay, so it was a time killer. And then from there, it quickly spiraled into the monstrosity that is. And my wife is still fairly upset by most of it, but, she'll get over it.
Why is she upset? Did she upset the grandeur of it or all the money that you put into it?
Why not both?
Fair enough. Fair enough. But your wife's awesome. Kate is amazing. Shout out to your wife.
Oh, yes, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, of course, of course. And now, Matt, what kind of music do you do? I know you write some originals. Do you also do covers and things like that?
I do. I do covers because a lot of people ask for them,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I do a lot of like rockabilly covers these days,
Mm-hmm.
just because with the older generation that I work with at the VA listening, they tend to like older style music. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll make covers that way, or uh, go from there. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I've done metal covers, I do punk covers, but primarily, I'd say my sound is rooted in classic rock and early '90s, late '80s punk.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Well, looking at you, I can already tell you got the tattoos from shoulder to fingertips, and your nails are painted, and but your hair's nice slicked back. So yes, you've got a combo going on, sir.
Yeah, I'm the dirtiest clean that you'll ever see.
The dirtiest clean. Nice. I like it. I like it. And now what brought you to the VA? I mean, besides being a veteran yourself, um, what kind of led up to playing music for the guys at the VA clinic?
So when I first got back, I was really lost. First got out, and I really didn't know what to do, and I had to go to all these medical appointments at the VA anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that turned into getting hooked up with the music therapists over there, talking to them. And then it turned into, hey, these guys just need some weekly entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of started messing around with that. But it also kind of helped me battle my own depression.
Mm-hmm.
So, giving back to others always really helps. So that's where it's at now, where it's a passion as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to, hey, let's just do something for them and see if they like it.
Mm-hmm. Good, excellent, excellent. And music, I mean, it's it's rooted in so many things that can help people. I mean, people with Alzheimer's, people that are suffering from PTSD or other things like that. I mean, it's amazing to see what music can do. Music is also the great connector of things. And you and I were, yeah, you and I were talking not too long ago, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, politically and health wise, it'll be interesting to see what kind of music comes out on the other side of this. I think that's what you would
That's very true.
got to. Have you written any music for the times?
I have. I've got about two songs that I'm working on right now. Surprisingly, both are ska songs.
Okay.
Trying to bring a little bit of light to the darkness that is quarantine and the world as it is, as it stands. So trying to, I guess, not lighten the mood, but still talk about issues, in a bit of a lighter fashion, so that it's less quote unquote uncomfortable.
Right, right. And now, Matt, do you play with a band or is it all on you?
Well, since COVID, I don't have a band, so
Fair
yeah,
enough.
now it's all on me to play every instrument. So
Good, good. Let's get into your instrumentation a little bit. Now, like we had said, we went to college together, and you played guitar. You already sang. Now, did you pick that up in high school? Were you trained in any way? I mean, where did your kind of musical career start?
it started when I found my dad's old guitar from the '60s down in my grandmother's basement at about 10 years old,
Hmm.
and my quote unquote formal training was her giving me a Johnny Cash album, which was live at Folsom Prison, and told me to make my guitar sound like that. And that's how I ended up getting into everything. And so that taught me really great rhythm. And so I kind of carried that on, but I was only classically trained as a drummer.
Mm.
But I just started picking up other instruments because I was the guy in high school bands and stuff that was like, okay, we need a bass player. I'm on it. We need a guitar player. Okay. We need a keyboard player, whatever. So I just kind of filled in where I could, and I was picking up instruments along the way. And that really turned into my instrumentation, where I play, I think, 13 instruments at this point. So recording that collection really takes a lot longer when it's just you.
Right, right. You got to go in, record one, then go back, record another one, and then layer it all together. Yeah, definitely. What is your recording process like? I mean, does it obviously it'll take a little while doing 13 instruments
Yeah.
or whatever you got going on for a song, but what is your process like? I mean, do you come up with lyrics first? Do you come up with the guitar part first?
I come up with the lyrics first because I was always taught, I mean, especially in college, that English uh, kind of lends itself to music as far as the rhythm of it all. Like I remember I was in Shakespeare class learning about iambic pentameter and hanging verbs and things like that. So learning how to artistically write kind of also aids the music and how you're going to flow with, you know, uh, whether you want to go 3/4 time or full on 4/4 or 6/8 or whatever. But it's judged by the rhythm of the language.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely where I start.
All right.
And then from there, it's a lot of early mornings and late nights.
Much to the dismay of everybody in the house, right?
And probably the neighbors.
No, I've seen your studio. You have it pretty well soundproofed in the basement there, so I can't imagine it being too terrible.
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten a complaint yet, but
All right.
I suppose that's probably because I can play.
There you go. There you go. Very cool. Very cool. So you're doing more Facebook Live. You're doing, excuse me, YouTube Live. You got a couple songs out. What else is going on in your world? I mean, you play down at the VA clinic quite a bit, which I think is really cool. giving back to the community, but also kind of getting some relief in return.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's very much it.
Mhm.
Everything else going on, it's my wife is pregnant again,
Congratulations.
and I'm a proud father of one already who just turned one.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
he is quite a handful,
Mhm.
and I had to baby proof a studio, which is a totally new world for me because I had to figure out how to make everything baby proof,
Mhm.
and a lot of stuff is very sensitive, and yeah, it took a lot to figure that out, but
Mhm.
it was kind of a DIY project after a while.
Baby proofing a punk studio. That let's dive into that a little bit. I mean, it's got to be a little bit more than putting things up on tables.
Yeah, no, it definitely is because obviously pedal boards and cords that run across the floor, you can't really have that because he might start chewing on them or playing with them.
Hmm.
So I actually found a way to have my pedal board electronically reset itself to my settings uh, every time I turn it on and off. So even if he does go and mess with buttons or push
Hmm.
pedals and everything else, it'll automatically reset. Uh, and basically, after that, I had to put plexiglass over the mixing board and all the knobs attached to my 8 unit rack,
Hmm.
as well as I had to put plexiglass around the smaller of the two amps so he doesn't play with the knobs or anything like that.
Hmm.
But other than that, I used a lot of gaff tape to cover up the cords and tape them to the floor.
Hmm.
Uh, Concrete, everything is screwed directly into the concrete, so um, it is. It, I could hang off of most of the stuff down here and it won't budge. So I'm pretty sure that if I can do that, he's fine.
Yeah, good, good. I know you had sent me a picture of your son in a little car carrier, and you had these cute little earphones on him, and I think the caption was "It's rock and roll time with Dad." So that's
Yep,
very cool.
that's
Um,
very true.
yeah, would you ever think about putting out a children's album or writing songs for kids?
I thought about it,
Hmm.
doing like heavy metal and punk kids songs. I think that would be awesome if I can make good music that you know parents won't get sick of hearing. That would be perfect.
Hmm. Yeah, a maybe a punk ska version of "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
Oh, sure, why not?
All right, I'm challenging you to that.
Oh, all right, I'll keep that in mind.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, very cool. Very cool. So you've got kind of your own home studio. Do you have anything out that people can listen to now? Anything on Bandcamp or iTunes?
Not currently,
Hmm.
but we're slowly. I'm still building up my recording repertoire, so
Okay.
hopefully by the end of summer, I will be because it takes so long to record. It kind
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
leans itself to me not putting out things immediately.
Right. Right.
Uh, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the deadline about mid-August.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Now this will be kind of your first album, correct?
Yeah, I put
First.
out a couple of songs in the past,
Yeah. Yeah. First
but
official album.
yes.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Let's talk about your nickname a little bit. Now, I know the backstory to it, but a lot of people don't. So where did Micky Trouble come from?
Well, I had really big ears growing up that stuck out a little bit. So I got the Mickey Mouse nickname, and then the Trouble was added from my family because they always called me. They said, you're just Trouble. You're
Mhm.
Trouble. And so eventually the two kind of got blended together and thus became my stage alter ego
Mhm.
known as Mickey Trouble.
All right, wonderful, excellent, excellent. And now, what else is going on in your world? Let's see here. You're recording. You've got your home studio baby proof now, which is the first I have ever heard of something like that. That's really cool. You're doing the YouTube thing. How often do you play live? Is it once a week? Every 2 weeks?
It's going on every 2 weeks, but I'm trying to push for once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So at least that'll be entertaining
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of guys and girls. And with all my old military friends, they listen from other countries, so they
Mm-hmm.
expose the locals there to me, and it's kind of it's fun. I'm starting to gain some traction.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent, Matt. Wonderful, wonderful. And now you also have a Patreon account as well. If somebody wants to kind of lend some dough to your ever expanding music collection or to help you out with your record as well, how can people find that?
Just Patreon and search Micky Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It should pop right up.
Okay, perfect, perfect, wonderful. Have you had good success with Patreon? I know Kickstarter was kind of the way to go, maybe about 5, 6 years ago, but now Patreon is kind of taking the lead on a lot of musicianship now.
Yeah, well, Patreon's a lot. It's more geared towards musicians and more geared towards artists.
Okay.
So it's a little bit easier to work with than Kickstarter. So I've been going through them just because technologically I'm savvy, but not that savvy. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I go from there.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Would you ever do like a Kickstarter for an album, or is it all Patreon all the time?
Patreon until something better comes along.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Excellent. And now, Matt, you are not unfamiliar with guitars and amps and things like that. I think a while ago you had told me that you're getting sent some gear to test out. Is that still happening?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, just this week I got sent a brown box and to try that out,
Mm-hmm.
which is a power regulator for tube amps. And so I've been messing with that. Also, I build my own guitars and do all the custom work myself.
Mm-hmm.
So every now and then I'll get pickups and stuff, either at a discount or just sent to me, and put them up. Put them in different guitars and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Telecaster that's right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. This guy is all custom done.
Wow.
It's got Libre pickups in the bridge position, and on the neck, it's got a quarter-pound wound pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So it lends itself very, very well to old, classic country as well as punk rock, because the quarter-pound wound is meant for hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put a Nashville switch in there, which is a 4-position switch where a normal Telecaster only has 3. And it'll actually take out the top end of the highest pickup and blend them two together, so it'll actually sound like a humbucker as opposed to 2 single coils.
Oh, wow. Very cool. And now, Matt, did you kind of reach out to different gear heads, different gear places to have them send you stuff, or did they find you?
Well, I reached out initially. And it was kind of just between friends and everything else. And then, when I started building the studio, I started shopping at these places more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in a really good relationship with them. And so it just became kind of every now and then I'll get a package that just kind of shows up and it's like, hey, can you test this and tell us what you think?
Nice. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, you're on Patreon, you're on YouTube Live, you're on Facebook. You get gear sent to you. What else is going on? You're recording. Yeah, actually, you know what? Can we dive in a little bit into your military stay a little?
Sure.
And I bring that up just because Elvis was in the military. I don't think Johnny Cash did any military stay, but he was definitely some trouble. Oh, he did. Okay. Wonderful.
Yes, he was in the Air Force.
Oh, all right, excellent. So, are you kind of following that path a little bit by kind of being in the military and now transitioning back into music?
I suppose you could say that.
Hmm.
Music has always been such a constant that it was kind of the only stable thing I had after I got out.
Mm-hmm.
So it really kind of lended itself to my emotional resonance with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I can totally see where the Elvis, Johnny Cash, Jimi Hendrix, who was also in the military, uh, I can definitely see where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very it's one of those. If you're an artist, you're always an artist.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's very true. Very, very true. Excellent. Have you written any kind of more military-ish songs in your past? Have you written about your time overseas?
I have. I've written a couple of songs. I don't know if I'm going to publish them or even record them,
Mm-hmm.
just because they're so personal.
Right, right.
Uh, and it's one of those. It's so personal, people might not be able to relate, but I had to get
Mm-hmm.
it down on, I had to get it down on paper. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, it was it was a great outlet, but I don't know if they're ever going to make an album or even a live sesh. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
All right, all right, wonderful. And let's dive in a little bit. Now you said the word relate, and I've talked to countless musicians, countless other people in the music industry, and that's something that a lot of people have said that you write something that comes from your heart, you express something, but you also want it to be relatable. Um, is that kind of
yeah.
hard to do? I mean, how do you reach out to other people that may have not had the same experiences you do? Or are you reaching out to those people that have had those similar experiences?
Why not both? Uh,
Touche, sir,
I mean,
touche.
that's really where music should be. Is why not everyone? Um, it shouldn't matter, whether you served or didn't, or uh, or if you're from inner city community or you're from the suburbs, or if you live way out in the middle of nowhere. Uh, Good music should be able to reach everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of hit a point on common themes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's been through breakups. Everybody's had that one night of drinking that went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, everybody's been through these kind of things, and so I try to write stuff more along those lines so
Mm-hmm.
that it's relatable to people,
Mm-hmm.
from that kind of standpoint, where it's like, oh, I've been there. I know what he's talking about. But yeah, at least somebody said it, and that's kind of where,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I take my music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful, excellent. And now let's talk a little bit about kind of your punk stance on things here. Now, when I met you, I thought you were the coolest cat in the room, and you've always kind of had a little bit of a punk anarchy going on. Does that really now resonate even more? Now that you're 30, you're right behind me. I'm 31, so
Yeah,
I can still call you a
no,
young buck, right?
no kidding. No, I mean, I still got the swagger. They tried to train that out of me, but I kind of, I kept it.
Mhm.
Uh, and so, yeah, that still very much lends itself to my influence. Like Social Distortion was a huge influence on me. Buddy Guy, um, some of the older blues players who had that same kind of swagger. Uh, you know, Back then that was punk rock music, man. The blues was the devil's music. Uh, so
Yes.
it's one of those deals where a certain swagger came with the whole thing, and I
Mhm.
wouldn't say that I define myself as, oh, I'm a punk rocker. I'm like, no, I just got a swagger that kind of goes with that community, and
Very true. Very
it
true.
works.
Right. Right. I the other day I was actually thinking about the whole kind of punk scene and how it's supposed to be anti-establishment or anti whatever fly your own flag type deal, but as much as that is what it is, it kind of comes from the heart, honestly. It's not something that you can change, I mean, for a long
Right.
time, I didn't wear makeup and I wore clothes that should have been back in the 90s, and that was kind of my my anti-root of the early 2000s, but no,
Yeah,
it's something that's in your heart, something that you can't change.
right. And it's also about accepting others,
Correct.
and that's something that a lot of people kind of miss.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, uh, we're not exactly hippies, but at the same time, it's about acceptance.
Mhm.
And with everything going on in the world, I think we need a little bit more of that.
Mhm. Definitely. Yes, I couldn't agree more. We need definitely we need respect, we need acceptance, we need love. Basically, is what we need right now. And yeah, my heart hurts every time I listen to the news. So hopefully things will change quicker
I
rather
hope
than
so too.
later. But mhm,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
yes,
Uh,
yes, yes. So
yeah.
so
So
yeah, so Matt, with your kind of your EP that you're gonna release, or you've got a goal date of the middle of August. Um, so with this
yeah.
EP, is it going to be on Bandcamp? Is it going to be on iTunes? How can people get a hold of it?
Once it's done and complete, I will be publishing it to iTunes,
Mhm.
uh, and that way, it's a little bit more direct as an artist.
Mhm.
Uh, I put out a couple of songs on Reverb Nation, and it didn't really do very much.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
uh, and so I took them down, but I'm gonna release them directly on iTunes, and I'm gonna try and get Google Play involved as well. But
Wonderful.
uh,
Mhm.
once that's done, then we'll go from there.
All right, I can't wait. I can't wait. And now, we were talking one day, and you actually use Disc Kid. Is that what it's called? Disc Kid.
Just kid, yeah,
Okay, DiscKid to kind of release your music. And actually, a lot of DIY musicians use that because they take care of more of the legal end of things for you. You get paid, when somebody buys your song off iTunes or Amazon or wherever you want to launch it. And I believe it's a yearly subscription, and it's actually not that much to kind of host your music and get yourself paid that way.
yeah, and it's also very good legal protection. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if there is a legal problem or something pops up, they handle it, which is basically I'm lazy, so that's great.
Matt, you're the artist, and I'm a little bit more business savvy on that end of things. But no, I completely understand. Very cool. How did you discover Disc Kid?
Actually, from a acquaintance that I had met a couple of years ago. Her name is Mary Spender. Now she's huge,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I learned about it on her channel on YouTube, and so I went through them, and that's kind of how I found out about a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just talking with people on forums and things online, it was very, very easy to kind of slip in and find out where the best sites were and how to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now DiscKid, I mean, besides launching things out onto iTunes and things like that, I mean, they'll also do Spotify for you, they'll also do Amazon. I believe they're trying to get Google Play involved as well, but
Yeah,
hopefully by August they'll have that taken care of and you can just be all over the map, sir.
I I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
Excellent, excellent. And now, what do you use for recording? I mean, besides your Marshall stack and your custom guitars and things like that, I mean, do you record into like a laptop? Or are you kicking it really old school with the mixer? I mean, what's your process like?
I am kicking it old school with the mixer, but it also backfeeds out into uh, an interchange basically
Mm,
that hooks up to my computer. And
okay.
so I have a desktop computer hooked up to everything for storage purposes.
Mm, hmm.
Uh, so basically, it's push and play. Uh, Everything that comes out of the mixer goes right into my computer and records, and then
Hmm.
I just chop it up from there.
All right, very cool, very cool. Now, what's the longest process that you have? I mean, is it the master mix down? Is it the recording process? Is it writing the lyrics? What's the longest process for you?
Writing the lyrics, because
Mhm,
when it comes to that, I'm a perfectionist,
mhm,
um, and so yeah, with the guitars and everything else, if it's truly a punk song or a ska song, you can play some wrong notes and no one's really going to care. Uh, but if the words are wrong, they're going to notice very, very quickly.
Mm,
So,
mhm, mhm.
uh, or tell you you're not relatable, or kind of just write you off as just another, oh, I'm yelling about something. Uh, so
But yelling needs to happen though sometimes.
sometimes it does. I agree. But but yeah, you better make sure that what you're yelling is matching up with how you feel.
Mm, mhm. Right, right. I remember reading a book because I was going to be a writer way back in the day, and the line in the book basically just said, write about what you know. You can't write
Right.
about something that you've never experienced. So very cool, very cool, Matt. All right, excellent, sir. Micky Trouble on the line over Skype today. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out of your day to talk to us, show us your studio, and I wish you the best of luck on your EP. I can't wait. Keep us posted.
All right, will do.
All right, excellent, Matt. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Bye.